On the front porch of my family cottage, and this cottage has been in my family since 1927. It was originally my grandmother's and then my parents and then mine. I actually grew up in a cottage across the street that my family had since 1913, and my children are the 6th generation here. This cottage really is more of a home for us than any other home we've ever had in the United States. Even though it's in another country and the United States is 15 miles over that way. All of our family gatherings are here. We do use it quite a bit through all the months of the year, weather dependent. There's sometimes when the weather's super cold, we have to close it up and we cannot use it. But this is just a central part of my family's life and history. Sure. So the Canadian government implemented what they call the underused housing tax. And the reason for that tax was to address the housing issue that they have in Canada, especially for affordable housing and availability of housing. Generally, the problems with housing availability are in large cities like Toronto and Vancouver. But when they drew up this legislation, which actually is in effect, it's not proposed anymore, it's actually in effect, they looped in quite a few other areas driven by population that really were not the intended reasons for the tax in the first place. At least that's what they've told us. So a great example is this little village that we're living in. This village of Crystal Beach is 4.4 square miles. It's got a bigger population density than some rural areas, but most people would probably drive through here and never call it urban. However, the Canadian government, in their certain definition of this area, is defining it as urban because of the population density. So unfortunately, people like ourselves and hundreds of others that live in this area are being pulled into potentially paying this tax, which was not intended for us in the first place. If this goes through and we're hit hard when the assessments go up, it's going to be a tough decision because honestly it would be an enormous amount of money for many people.